Hello, everybody. Am I audible? Please just mention in chat or you can unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we will wait for a few minutes because I can see people are still joining. Then we'll start the class.
Fine, ma'am.
Okay, maybe we can now start the class and people can join as we go on. So I'll turn on my camera. Okay. So yeah, so let me just share my screen. Okay, is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to this week 2 of this problem solving session, NPTEL session. So I will just reintroduce the concept in case there are people joining for the first time. Basically, my name is Zenia. I am a PhD student and Prime Minister's Research Fellow at the Indian Institute of Science. As I mentioned last week, I work primarily in the area of astrophysics. And as I was saying, my field is one of many fields where programming and specifically Python programming plays a very important role. I would say that in my research, I use Python every day for various tasks, and it's very difficult for you to find a field where this is not the case, right? Today we find that programming factors into programming and programmatic thinking factors into most of the different aspects of various areas, right? So, okay. So, how does this sessions work? So, basically, these are problem solving or doubt clearing sessions where they are interactive live sessions. So, you have your recorded videos which professor has provided to you throughout the week. So, every week at the end of the week on Saturday, we are going to go through the some of the just a recap of the material of the previous week, and then we are going to solve some problems and do some programs together, and these will be problems or programs which are related to your assignment questions, but not exactly the same as your assignment question. So if you sit and do these programs and problems sincerely, it will help you to solve your assignment questions as well. As I said previously, this is my email ID. So please feel free to mail me regarding any concerns or queries that you have. And I would say that, you know, you should take advantage of the fact that this is a live session, right? So in case you have, for example, some particular topic to be covered in the slides, you can always request me. So just send me a mail before Saturday. So, you know, by Wednesday or Thursday, if you send me a mail, I'll be able to include that topic in that week's problem solving class. So you can feel free to mail me. I'll put my email ID in the chat. Give me a second. And as I said, this is an interactive session. So last week there were a lot of questions and queries, and I that was a very good thing. And as you saw last week, the way that I like to teach this course is that I like to give the problem and then give you a few minutes to try to solve the problem. Or today we'll also be doing some programs. So I'll be giving you a few minutes to try to do the problem or the program on your own. So to use the analogy that I used last week, like, you know, programming is like riding a cycle, right? You cannot read books and learn how to ride a cycle. You need to ride the cycle yourself, and then only you will be able to ride the cycle, right? So I'll give you some time in these sessions to do some problems, do some programs on the own, and then we can discuss. So please take advantage of the fact that this is a live session so that we can interact more as well. Apart from that, the main thing which you know, people are more worried about is about the recordings and the slides. So I'm just pasting this second. Sorry. I'm just pasting this link in the chat. So basically, all these sessions are recorded and uploaded on YouTube. Apart from that, the slides and today the programs which we'll be doing also I will be sharing on a Google Doc. So all these links will be made available to you by the NPTEL team. Apart from that, I also have this website that I made on my personal website. So if I just go here, which I've pasted in the chat. So if you just check this, sorry. So you can see that I have put all the links in this one website. If you just click here, you can find the YouTube playlist where all the recordings of the videos are there. Apart from that, the slides of the sessions, for example, last week's session has already been uploaded. After this session, I will be uploading week two's material, all the slides and the programs as well. Okay, so this is just the housekeeping part. So essentially, these are, again, as I said, doubt clearing sessions for us to do some problems and programs based on the topics that you have been looking at throughout the week. Okay, so I don't think there should be any questions at this point. So let's just move on to what is the material that was covered this week. And yeah, please feel free to interrupt me at any point if you have any questions or queries. Either you can write in the chat or you can just speak up at any point. Okay. So, okay, sorry. So to recap, this week it was more of like you were looking at, so last week you were looking at algorithms and programming practices in general. So you saw how the same program, which was to calculate this greatest common factor, you were able to write in different ways, right? And every time you are making it more and more efficient. So initially you were storing all the factors of the two numbers in in two separate lists, then making a common list. After that, you realize that you don't have to store all these values all the time. You only need the one value. So you are able to compromise and better the storage capacity by not writing everything to a list. Then later, by the end of the thing, you found that there was even a recursive or a more efficient algorithm to calculate everything in terms of this Euclid's algorithm. So the point is that algorithmic thinking is about solving problems, but also it's not just about just solving the problem in the first or the brute force way, right? We have to take advantage of the fact that we are actually using a computer. As I said, if I ask you to print a statement 100 times, you can sit and write 100 print statements, but that is not taking advantage of the fact that we have a computer. That is the same as how a human being would do it. So we should always take advantage of the fact that we are having a computer, we are having this way that we can tell the computer to do some repeated instructions very efficiently rather than how we do. So this week, actually, we moved more to the Python side of it, which is where we are looking at these different data types, strings, lists, functions, which are what you will be using to actually communicate your program or your algorithm to the computer. So we already saw a few of these things last week when we looked at different algorithms, but basically, okay, yeah, before I start, this is something that I kept even last year when I taught another Python course, which is that you are starting out coding. So please always have some good coding practices. So before we go to the material, this is something that I'm going to include in every one of my slides. Okay, so uh, programming, you can just write things, figuring out the algorithm and writing a program is one thing, but writing a nice or a good and readable program is another thing. So always try to choose some meaningful variable and function names. You can always name a variable or a function whatever you want, but try to give it a name that conveys what it is. Try always write comments, try to put proper comments. Comments are, you put with a hashtag in Python, you'll be writing comments. You can just write an explanation, a short explanation of what is happening in the code. You should, of course, in Python, using indentation is compulsory. If you don't give the proper spacing, your code will not run, right? Or it will give some different results. So use all that properly. And this last part is when you try to develop codes which are a little more complicated, which is that try to always have some README files or some document where you explain what the code is. So these kinds of steps are what ensures that your code is not only doing the job, but is also a readable or a very good code that tomorrow if you want to take this code and give it to someone else, you don't need to sit and explain it to them. It will be quite clear what it does just by looking at the code. And not even for someone else, even for yourself, right? It might have happened to those of you who have done some programming already, right? You might have written some program, then you try to revisit that program, say 6 months from now or a year from now, and you don't remember what this variable does, what that variable does, what this, which part you have to change for what. So, you are doing your future self also a favor if you keep all your file names, your variable names, function names, everything consistent. So you're starting out programming, so try to have these practices when you start out itself, because then it will be easier as you go along, right? So you should have such programs that 6 months from now, 1 year from now, it is clear what you are trying to communicate. Okay. So this week you saw about, as I said, some basic parts of Python. So this is just, I've just included a few slides on this and then we can move on to the question. So first of all, last week we saw about loops. So loops are one of the ways in which you can take advantage of the computers, advantage of programmatic thinking, right? If you have some condition that has to be repeated a fixed number of times or some n number of times, you can always use a loop, whereas you check a condition and keep evaluating it, and as long as it's true or as long as a certain number of steps is reached. So last week we looked at for loops and while loops. So that is one of the ways in which we can look at conditions and execute statements. Another completely different thing which is, also used is if else statements. So again, I think we already looked at this last week, but I just wanted to put a flow chart here in case people are not familiar. If else conditions are basically where if a statement is true, it will execute some particular type of code. Otherwise, it might execute some other type of code, right? So for example, if you want to check if a number is even or odd, what will you check? You will check the modulus of that number, I mean the remainder of that number, and accordingly you will it either execute saying that print that this is even or print that this is odd. So I saw that hand was raised. Okay. Someone has asked a question. Does do while work in Python? Yes, do while does work in Python, but mostly while and for loops are preferred. Whatever you can do with a do while loop, you can do with a while loop or a for loop. So that's why maybe it is not shown up as much. As to my knowledge, there is a do while loop in Python as well. So yeah, whatever you can do in either of them, it's up to your preference. So remember the what I said last week is programming is also very creative in the sense that you can always do something in multiple ways, right? So that is the idea. Okay, fine. So I don't see any other questions. So yeah, so these are two of the things that you will be using, two of the sort of tools that you will be using when you want to write your programs. You'll be using if conditions to check whether certain conditions are true or not. You'll also be using loops to execute statements repeatedly. So these are the kinds of ideas that you have to keep in mind. And then, of course, we already saw this. We saw about for loop versus while loop. The main difference between for and while loops is that for loops are used often when you have a fixed number of iterations, whereas while loops are done until a statement, when you don't have a exactly fixed number of iterations, but maybe still a statement is proved wrong. But again, this is not a very, good distinction, or it's not like whatever I write in a for loop, I can always write in a while loop and vice versa. It's just up to your preference. So I've just put a small try this, which is a sum to program to print the sum of the first 10 numbers using a for loop and a while loop. So you can just try writing this later. I'm not, you can try writing this later. We saw a similar sort of program already in last week's one of the MCQ or those program questions. So you can try doing something like this as well. So yeah, that is about loops and conditions. So now let's talk about data types. So as you saw, I think again, we saw a lot of these things last week, but I'm just trying to make it concrete. So data types are basically how you store and handle your data, right? So with Python, one of the things is that unlike, those of you who have used C or something like that, where you have to explicitly declare a variable to be of a particular data type, Python is a little more flexible in the sense that you don't have to do that at the beginning. You can just assign a value to the variable and that automatically gives it a particular data type. So these are the different data types that you can have. So you have Boolean values. Boolean values are condition statements that evaluate to either true or false. So again, those become important when you have loops, when you have if-else conditions. You have to evaluate whether something is true or false. Something that's true returns a value of 1. Something that's false returns a value of 0. So if I give something like check if 5 is greater than 3, for example, that is a true statement and that will give me a value of 1. Apart from that, to store numbers, I have integers and floats. So integers are, of course, as you know from your mathematics, integers are non-decimal numbers, whereas floats have decimal numbers as well. And you can also represent floats in terms of scientific notation. So you have this 10 to the power of something, right? So 4 10 power 7 or something like that. Apart from that, you have strings. Strings are your, alphabets or characters in an array, and those are used for your words and so on. So you have to keep track, especially because one of the things that I said, which is that Python, you don't have to explicitly declare the data type. That is an advantage and it's a disadvantage in the sense that then you have to be clear with yourself that what is each variable's data type. You have to keep track of what you're actually doing, and don't get everything mixed up. Okay, sometimes you might try to mix up two variables which have two different data types. In that sense, it's going to throw an error. So you have to be careful as to what kind of data type you're dealing with at a daily basis. Okay, so that is about the different data types. Again, these are things that you already know. I'm just going through it. We'll just go through this fast, and then when you're doing the programs, it will become more clear to you, or more intuitive to you, that what is the actual difference and the handling that is happening. So right. So you have, as I said, integer, float, boolean, and so on. And then you also have um, collections of data types, right? So you have lists, which is a collection of numbers, or string, which is kind of like that. You have tuples and dictionaries, which we have not really encountered yet, but just keep lists in mind for now. Those are tuples and dictionaries are other ways to collect a collection of data types. So multiple integers or multiple strings in an array or a tuple or a dictionary, you can keep storing it. So that is the idea behind the container. So it's like multiple ideas how to keep. So is there some question in the chat? So I already mentioned the recorded sessions you can find on the link in my website. I will again share the exact link and details at the end of the class. So for now, let's just continue with the class. Again, I'll discuss about the recording and everything at the beginning of the class and at the end of the class. Okay, because otherwise people keep asking this question. But just if you scroll up, I think my website link is there. You can find everything, all the relevant information there. Okay. Finally, we have loops, we have if-else conditions, we have data types, and we have now operators. So operators is the final thing of what you require to put everything together, right? If I want to add, do some mathematical manipulation of my data or my variables, then I use arithmetic operators. So you can see that there is a plus, minus, division, multiplication, division, and modulus, which you already saw, gives you the remainder. Apart from that, which is not mentioned here, there is an exponent function, for example. So exponent is here, it's like a 2 asterisk, okay, like double asterisk is the exponent function. So 5 to the power 3 means it will be 5 asterisk asterisk 3. Similarly, there are relational operators. These are often used when you have a condition to check. So for example, if you have a while loop which is running until a value is less than another value, you have to keep checking. If that condition is true, then you will give a less than 10 or something like that. And, or, and not are logical operators. You have bitwise operators. You have assignment operator, which basically is giving equals. Like if you want to assign some value, or here when you give plus equals, minus equals, these are basically like, if I give a plus equals b, it means that a is equal to a plus b, for example. And similarly for all the other ones. Okay, so this is basically your operators. So I think we can quickly just go through this exercise, which is about the logical operators. I think all of you answered last week, but in case anyone does not have familiarity, let's just quickly try this statement. So there are three logical operators. One is and, or, and not. You can see that and is true if both the statements are true, or is true if any one of the statements are true, and not just reverses the result. So I've given 4 questions here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you guys try answering the 4 questions in the chat? It should not take more than a minute. I'll just give you a minute and you can try it out. Okay, first is false. Okay, false, true, true, true. Okay, I can see that. Okay, okay, false, true, false, true, false, true, false, true. Okay, fine, fine, it's fine. I think now most people are answering false, true, and that is correct. Very good. So true and false gives false. true or false gives true. So that's the difference between and or here. That is what you need to understand. Okay, good. Everyone who answered, thank you very much. Thank you for answering immediately. So that is very good. So this is the difference between and or operators, right? So suppose I have two conditions and both has to be true for something else to be true, then I need to use and, otherwise I have to use or. So for example, if I want a number to be divisible by 6, it has to be divisible by 2 and 3, right? Then only it's divisible by 6. So something like that, similarly. So if any one of them is false, it's not divisible by 6. So that's how you think about it. Okay? So this is about logical operators. So, yeah. So let's, okay, sorry. So now let's do some questions. So as usual, I will show you the question. I'll give you some time. Please try, please put the answers in the chat and then we can discuss what the answer is. Okay. So since you all are enthusiastically answering, this is good. I will try to put it for the next question. Okay. This is the first question. One of the following 10 statements generates an error. Which one? So your answer should be a number between 1 and 10. So here you can see that I have statement 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's all depending on some variables and they are being manipulated in one way or another. So just check which of this statement is false or which of this statement will throw an error. So just give the answer as a number between 1 and 10. Okay, one person says 7. Okay, some I can see two answers. Oh, actually 7, 9, 6, 5, 8, 1, 5, and 7. Okay, only one of the statements gives an error. So don't give multiple answers, give one answer. Okay, I can see some people are saying 7, but I can also see 5 and 8 also. I'll give you one more minute just to have a idea. Others also, if you are answering, try answering. I'll give one more minute. Okay, it looks like 7 is kind of dominating, or 7 is the majority answer right now. Okay, maybe you can go to the answer. So the answer is okay. Someone has written all the numbers from 1 to 12. I don't know. As I said, there's only one answer and there's no even segment 11 and 12. Uh, yeah, but the answer is actually 7. So the reason is, I think someone had also given the reason in the chat, which is that basically, sorry, basically that if you check, 7 is trying to update a statement, which is actually a string, right? So updating a statement will cause an issue because, sorry, what am I saying? Updating a string causes an issue because strings are immutable. If you try to update a string, it will cause an issue. You have to manipulate string through string operations only. You cannot reassign it like this. Okay, so that is why uh, 7 is showing an issue. Okay. Okay, I
Second,
think, sorry.
yeah. So,
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, please. One
Please, do you explain the statement number 6?
statement number 6 is y of 1 is equal to 4. So let's look at what is y of 1, right? Y is something like x, which is an array, right? A list of x from 0 to 50. So in that case, y of 1 is equal to 4 just changes the second member of this list.
excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
50, there's only 5 items here, no, ma'am. So 50 won't come, no, ma'am. It'll be like more, like, what is that? Limited exit, sorry, doesn't exist, come like that, no, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. You're saying 50 is wrong.
Ah,
Maybe it's 5 then. Maybe I made a mistake. I'm not sure. No. Actually, this is an array of 3 comma 5, right? So this itself will
yeah,
have
ma'am.
15 elements.
Hello,
Correct?
ma'am.
Yes.
Hello, ma'am. Even though we have
No.
only 5 elements in the list, we enter the more than that list length. It's automatically took the what's the length of the list only, ma'am. For example, is the length of the list is around 5, right? We mention 0 into 50. It's gonna run up to 5 only. It's not gonna took the rest of the numbers.
Okay, so let's try it out, right? That will make it easier for us to understand. So let's try out what will happen because that is the best way. So let me item 3. Let's put A as some list of 1, 2, 3, 4. Then let's give B is equal to A of 0 to 10, for example. So you can see that even though I gave 0 to 10, as one of the people correctly said, even though I'm assigning B to be 0 to 10, because A only has 4 elements, it still only runs for, still only assigns the 4 numbers, right? Now, if I give something like B of 5 is 0, that's not going to allow, because even though I seem to have applied till 10, here only till 4 it is actually being assigned, and only it is taking only the values which are there. Okay, is this fine?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
Hello,
great.
ma'am.
Yes,
One more doubt.
please.
Ma'am, I have a confusion in statement 6 and statement no statement 5 and statement 7. What is the difference
Yes.
in these two statements? You just said we can't change the string, but here in statement 5, we are changing the string.
Are we changing the string here? X of 1.
Actually, we are changing the string through concatenation, so it is possible there.
Yes. So that's what I said, that string can only be changed to string operations. Okay, so concatenation, this plus is one of the string operations. Similarly, there are some other string operations. But the point is that, okay, I can show you again. Let's put a string here now. The string is Python. Okay. Now, if I give string plus class, for example, then I get Python class, right? But suppose I give string is equal to class. Sorry. What did I do? Okay. I should give string of 1 is equal to something. I give like how they do. Yeah, then it doesn't allow. Like I have to either reassign the whole string to some new value. I can manipulate it through plus, but I can't reassign like class. I can't change A to something else. Do you understand? I can either change the whole string, or I can change the or I can add something through plus. That's called concatenation. Okay, so that's a string operation.
Okay, got it.
Got it? Okay, great. So the point is that once I define a string, if I want to change, I can't change inside it, right? If I want to change Python to Python class, I can add class to it, but I cannot change Python's O to something else, that's what I mean. Okay. So that is the idea. Python is stored as one thing. So you can add something to it or you can reassign it completely, but you cannot change part of it. That is the idea. Okay. Is there any other questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please go ahead.
In the statement number 6, we are changing y of 1, which means c.
Yeah, but we are reassigning, right? So that is like this. Can you see that I ran string is equal to class? That was fine. So I can change the whole string again, right? If I first give string to be Python, then I can change completely. I can change string to now mean class. I cannot change Python's O to A. That is the point. I cannot change part of the string. Okay, that is the idea. So do you see the
But
difference between?
c is a string, and we are assigning the new value is 4.
Yes. What is the issue?
Can you please run it?
Okay, sure. So, okay, well, let me just clear this so it's more clear. So let's give y is equal to ABCD. Okay. So now what do you want to change? Y is equal to 4. Oh, sorry. Y is equal to 4. That's fine, right? Because I'm changing the variable. So again, remember in Python, variables don't have data types that you declare in the beginning. So in C, if you did this, for example, it might throw an error saying that you're trying to assign an integer value to a string or something. Python doesn't have that. That's why I said it's both a flexibility and it's also a disadvantage in the sense that if you in between change a string to a number somewhere in your code, you have to keep track of that. Because in C or C++, for example, the data types are defined along with the variable. So if I define y to be an integer, it has to be an integer throughout. The same is not true in Python. So you have to be careful with that. Okay, there are two hands up. Yeah, please go ahead. Is there a, it's in the chat or I can't see? Okay, any other questions? I can see that some people have issue with statement number 10. So statement 10 is basically just giving a Boolean value. Whether this is equal to 1 or not, based on that, A will take value of true or false. Is that fine? Okay, that is statement 10. I can see two hands are raised. Please unmute or you can write it in the chat. Any question? Yeah, I'm sometimes not able to see the chat because I'm on the PPT screen. If I miss any question in the chat, please unmute and tell. Okay, I'm also trying to monitor from my phone, but sometimes I miss some questions. That's why. Okay, can you explain the left side of S7? Okay. So here you can see that W is equal to X. So it's basically this whole thing, right? This whole five element list, right? Okay. So now in this 5-element list, W of 1 means we are choosing this min C, which is a string. Okay. That is only W of 1. So let's try to do it as it is, right? For convenience, I'm just putting as 1 comma ABCD comma 2. Okay. Just for convenience. Now suppose I give B is equal to A, like I gave here. Now A of 1 is ABCD, the second element. Remember that counting always starts from 0. So A of 0 is 1 and B of 1 is the same thing. Sorry. Yeah. B of 1 is the same thing. So A of 1 is ABCD, B of 1 is also ABCD because counting starts from 0. Now, when I give this colon comma 3, that means that I am slicing the list or I'm choosing the first 3 elements of the list. So here it means that I'm choosing 0, 1 and 2 because a list, a string is also a list, right? A string is a list of alphabets or characters. So this ABCD is a list which has the elements A, B, C and D. So suppose A of 2. A of 1 of 2. Then I get only A and B. It chooses the first two elements. So similarly, here what is happening is in MIMC, it's trying to replace the first three letters, which is MIM, with F. So if you don't have a question, please mute because it is very disturbing. So yeah, if you have the first three letters, you're trying to reassign. And as we just now saw in a string, you cannot change part of the string. You can reassign it to something else, but you cannot change part of it. Okay. So that is why this statement is throwing an error. I think that's fine, right? Now everyone is clear. Yeah, I will be sharing PPT. I will be sharing the video. Please don't worry about it. I said in detail in the beginning of the class. I will tell at the end of the class also. These PPT video sessions are for you. You will finally get all of it. Okay, I'll explain how to get everything in the end of the class. Any other questions about the question? I don't think so. Okay, great. So now you saw that, in Python, because of the fact that it's very flexible, we can change the data type very easily. I was able to assign an integer to a variable which initially held a string, but still there are some things that we have to be careful about, like we cannot change a part of a string, right? We cannot change like that. So that is the way that you should, that is what this exercise shows. So let's go to the next question. So this is a multiple choice question. So please put your answers in the chat, A, B, C, or D. Okay. And remember, when I have this colon, it means I'm choosing from this element to this element. So if I don't put any number here, that means I'm starting from the first element. If I don't put any number here, that means I'm going till the last element. That's how it works. This is called slicing of a list. Okay, please put your answers in the chat. I'll give you a few minutes to just put A, B, C, or D in the chat. Just work it out and please put it in the chat.
Ma'am, there's a doubt.
Yeah,
Uh,
please.
yeah, so here A is equal to B, 2 until the end we are slicing it, right? From the second,
Yes.
or we
Yes.
can say from the third element, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
third element is included or it is excluded from it?
I think the element is included, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think it should be included. We can check it once. Yeah, so the third element is included.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay. So it's the yeah, the third element is. Okay, I can see some answers in the chat. C, B, and B. B is correct. Okay, fine. Let's wait. I can see both the answers. I think B is kind of majority, but I'll give you 2 more minutes in case anyone else has any other answers. Okay, seems like people are having confusion between C and B. Let's see what happens. Okay, looks like now B seems to be the majority answer. So I think we can go to the answer. There is, it seems to be somewhat like 70% B and 30% people are saying C. So the answer is actually C. So here is the understanding of it. So basically you have B, which is original list, right? So A of 0 being
Ma'am,
60. Sorry, hello.
ma'am, one doubt, ma'am. If A equals to B of 2 means 0, 1, 2.
The third
2
element.
means 65 now, ma'am. D
Yes.
equals to B of 1, B of 1 means 99 now, ma'am.
Yeah, but after that you have D of 1 is 95, right?
Yeah, changing, okay.
You're
95.
changing it, right? So
Uh,
that's
uh,
okay.
B of 2 also, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, that's what. So let's look at it because multiple things are there. So we have to, this is very important skill in programming, right? That we might assign some value, then some steps happen that change that value. So we should always keep track of what variable has what value. So first we start with, okay, sorry. First we start with this 43, 99, 65, whatever, this list. Now A is, as you all have shown, from 65. So A's first element is 65. So A of 0 is 65. So I definitely know it's one of B or C now. Okay. I mean, after that, I'm not changing A anywhere. So A of 0 is definitely 65. Then I have 60. Then D, as you know, your friend said now, D is basically 99 onwards till the end of the list. But after that, D is being changed to 95. So I need D to be 95. C of 3 is assigned as 73. So now the question is whether B of 2 is the factor which is defining whether, um, uh, which is the correct answer, right? So here, B of 3, one sec. So here the idea is that because I assign C to B, because of that, um, where here I'm changing B of 2 to 47. So where do I, yeah, okay, because assigning B and C to point to the same location. I'm not only saying that C has same elements. As when I write it's like this, that means that whatever change I make in B reflects in C and vice versa. So when I change C of 3 to 73, that also changes B of 3 to 73. Okay, and let's see if this is true. Okay, let's see if this is true by running it in Python. So again, I'm just going to clear this. So I'm going to have a list that says 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to say that B is equal to A. Now I'm going to say that B of 3 is something like, so B of 3 is the last element. Let's say B of 3 is 7. So now if I give A, you can see that it's actually 1, 2, 3, 7. Even though I didn't say A of 3 is 7, I said B of 3 is 7. Till A changed. Why? Because B and A, the way that Python interprets this statement B is equal to A is that they both point to the same memory location. So whenever I change anything in the memory location, it changes both of them. So that's why when I change C here, that affected B also. This does not affect A and D because A and D are slice of B, which is considered as a separate list. Okay? Is that fine for everyone? Any questions? Let me check the chat. Any questions? Did you get this logic? So this
No, ma'am.
is
No, ma'am.
okay. Okay. Do you want me to repeat this? Okay, sure. I will repeat it. Okay. So here, first of all, we have this list of B, which has 5 elements, right? I'm making 2 separate lists from that, which is slices of this list. So I am having A is equal to B from the third element onwards, again, 2 onwards till the end. So 0, 1, 2. So that means that B is having the values, A is having the value 65, 105, 4. Okay. Similarly, D is starting from the second element, which is denoted by the index 1, because again, remember, we start counting from 0. So D goes as 99, 65, etc., etc. Now, this statement C is equal to B is different than the statement these two. Okay. Here, A and D are actually independent lists that we are making. But when you write a statement like C is equal to B, what Python interprets it as is that B and C refer to the same object which is stored in the same memory location. So whenever I change B, that changes C. Whenever I change C, that changes B. So A and D you can very easily straightforwardly get from this. C also in some extent. But the point is that this C of 3 is equal to 73. That ends up affecting B also. Because I have said here that C is equal to B. Both the lists are considered equivalent. Python takes this as meaning that both of them point to the same object. Okay. Or both of them are names for the same object. So whenever I change anything in C, that changes B. Whereas D and A are considered as independent lists. And you can try this. If this is confusing to you, that's why I tried it just now. You can see that I just ran Python in front of you. I gave a list A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. I gave B is equal to A. I updated the value of B. But once I update the value of B, if I try to print A again, I'm getting some different value. So when I updated B, that automatically updated A. Okay, this is the idea. Is there any questions? I think it's clear now. for people. So this is the point, right? It seems confusing at first, but these are the things that we have to be very careful about. Even if we write a very nice algorithm to solve the problem, if we don't have an idea of what our variables are, where we are updating, because sometimes we write very complicated programs where there are many updates which are happening, same variable may be getting updated in different ways. So as I said, Python has this danger where, because it's very flexible, a variable which starts off with being an integer value may end up as a string or something, and then later if you try to do some mathematical operation on it, it's going to throw an error. Similarly, here you can see that you have assigned the same memory part to two variables. So whenever I update one variable, other one is automatically getting updated. So these are the kinds of things that we have to keep track of, because these are the things that will potentially throw errors, right? Suppose right now it's easy to do because we have a few lines of code, but suppose I have a very long program, and somewhere from the first line to the 25th line there is some difference. It's very difficult for us to actually see what is, maybe your logic is correct, but it may be that the variables are being updated in some wrong way or something like that. So these are the small things that you have to take care of when you actually go and write practically your own programs. Okay, cool, fine. Okay, so yeah, same logic as we are able to change strings to concatenation, sure. So yeah, so all of you are clear. Let's go to the next question then. So next question is
Ma'am.
this. Yeah, okay, please go ahead.
Ma'am, we have assigned a B value 47, no, ma'am. 47 or 73, but we got a 74, no, 73, no, ma'am.
So
B of 2 is 47. We got
B
a
of
B of 3
yeah, B of 2 is 47, but B of 3 is different, right? So B
uh,
of 3 is 73 because C of 3 is 73. That's what I was trying to say.
C equals to B, no? Okay.
Okay, so that's why. So if
Okay.
I now ask B of 2, it might still be 47. And if I ask C of
Okay.
2, that will also be 47. Because whatever change
Mm.
happens in B happens in C also. Okay, this is how you think of it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So when I'm updating either one of them, it is affecting both of the variables. That is what is the point. They refer to the same object, actually. They are both names for the same object. Okay, let's go to the next question because we also have some programming questions and I want to do them also. So let's go to the next question. So here, what is the value of end message, the variable end message after executing the following line? So you can see that there is some sort of loop. It's doing something. So what will be the value after the loop is executed? I'll give you a few minutes. Please put the answers in the chat. So it will be some sort of string, right? End message will be some sort of string. But what is the string? You just put it in the chat. Okay, I can see. Okay, good. So immediately there are some answers. It will be in reverse order. Someone has said, okay, someone has put the answer as anaconda backwards. Someone has just said anaconda, that it is not affected. Any other answers? Okay. Okay. I think, yeah, I'll give you one more minute, but I think most of you have got it. So yeah, maybe we can go to the answer. Yeah, okay, great. So all of you have, most of you have got, only one person said the same string, but yeah, the answer is actually that it will print the anaconda string backwards. So why is that? Because as we saw last class, whenever I give a index as -i, that starts counting from the back of the string onwards. So essentially, I'm adding all the string letter by letter, starting from the last letter and going back, right? So that's why I get the backward string. So the first iteration, it will be start message of -1. -1 gives me the last value, which is A. Then -2 gives me D, so on and so forth until I reach the start of the word. So I just get the string backward. So this basically gives me the reverse string. Okay. So good. I think all of you got that. Is there any doubts? I don't think there are any doubts in this. It's a straightforward program. Shall we go to the next one?
Two inverted comma or the one inverted comma both are same in the string.
Yeah, that is, I don't think that is an issue. We can check. I, I mean, yeah, there's no issue with either A being, either of them didn't throw an error. So you can have either of them. Okay, fine.
Ma'am.
Okay, so let's go to the next question then. I don't think there is any doubts in this question. Okay, this is the next question. What is the value of my list after the following lines are executed? So this is a function called mystery which is being executed, and there's a list of numbers which is being passed into mystery, and then we have to see what's going to happen. Okay. So yeah, please put your answers in the chat. Okay, someone has given the answer 13, 17, 19, 21. Okay. Okay, I see everyone giving the same answer 13, 17, 13 to 21. Okay. Okay, someone else has given a slightly different answer 13, 17. Okay, please read the question carefully once and check if this is the answer you want to give. I'll give 1 minute. Just read the question once more and check if this is actually the answer. Okay, now I can see some different answers showing up 7, 21, 17, 19, 7. Okay, fine. So actually, if you read the question, okay. So let's look at the question. The question is not what does mystery do, which correctly you have identified that mystery function takes the second element up to the last. So that would actually, I mean, not second element, the element with index 2, which is the third element of the list, which is actually 13. So this list L actually becomes 13, 17, 19, 21, and that gets returned at this point. But that is not what's asked. What's asked is not what's returned by mystery. What is actually asked is what is the value of my list after the following lines are executed. Nowhere in this lines have we changed the value of my list or assigned it to something else or equated it with anything else, right? So my list is not affected at all. I will just get back the same list back. So some of you have got that, but yeah, most of you who gave 13, 17, 19, 21, you are absolutely correct. You identified what the function is doing correctly. But the question was not what the function is doing. The question was what value the variable takes after the line is executed. And what you have to see here, again, it comes back to what I've been keep on telling, which is that you have to keep track of what variables are taking up what values, right? You can't just keep track of what the function is doing. You should also keep track of which variable is being assigned what. So in that sense, here my list is not affected at all. Okay, we are just passing it as an input. We have not changed its value. So as I get back the same list. Is this clear to everybody? Explain one more time. Okay. Let me put it like this, right? Okay. Basically, this is in this question, what is being asked is not what the function is doing. It's being asked, what is this variable, my list's value after this is executed? Okay, some of you are saying clear. Let me just clear it for the people who didn't understand. But basically, uh, this value, my list, is having 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 21. Okay. Then I am running it through this function mystery. And mystery actually, yeah, it returns for me only from the third element onwards. But that value of mystery is not assigned to my list, or my list is not updated to have this value, right? My list remains my list. It's not anywhere changed by the fact that I'm running. This is just an input, right? So I am not changing the value of my list variable anywhere. I'm running it as an input through the function, which ultimately gives me, if I run this program, then this line will give me the correctly what all of you identified, 13, 17, 19, 21. But again, the question is not what is the output of this code. The question is, what is the value of my list after the lines are executed. And what you need to understand is that my list variable was not updated by the code. Got it? Okay, great. Great. Okay, fine. Good. That's good that you guys got it. So yeah, let's now, we have 1 hour left of the class. So I have brought some programs. So let's do some programs. So as I said, this being an interactive class, and because programming, you can only learn by doing programs, I'm going to give you the problem and then I'll give you some time. So please try doing the program if you can. If you have access to a laptop, please try putting it in Python itself. If you don't, at least try to work out the logic. Okay. And then from next class onwards, please come equipped with the Python. I know some of you are saying you don't have laptop or something, but I think there was a discussion that you can run Python on your phone or something. But yeah, please try to at least work out the logic of the program and then we can discuss what the program looks like. Okay. So again, remember there are two parts to a program. There is this programming logic and then there's the syntax. So both of them are important. So let's try to do that. And for that, you need the practice. So I'll give the program, I'll give you a few minutes and you try to work it out. Okay. And then we'll discuss the answer together. Okay. So the first program, write a function in int reverse of n that takes input a positive integer n and returns the integer obtained by reversing the digits of n. So yeah, simple statement. Basically, you can see that int reverse of 783 should give 387. This big number, it's just reversed. Int reverse of 3 is 3 because there's only one digit. So I'll give you a few minutes. Please try doing this program and we will do. Yeah, everything will be shared with you. Don't worry about it. I have, as I showed in the beginning, there is a Google Drive where all the slides are being uploaded. I'm also going to be uploading all the Python files for all these various programs that I have. So you can use it at your own time. You can look at it. But right now, I also want you to try to do this on your own first before I show you the solution. Okay? Because that is what will help you to actually learn programming. Is instead of just seeing my solution, if you try to do it yourself, that will actually help. Okay, so I'll give you a few minutes to work this out. Please do it sincerely. Modulus use, I assume, yeah, okay, someone has asked what is the use of modulus in loop. In which loop have we used modulus? Modulus basically is the, I assume you mean the percentage sign that gives you the basically the reminder of a division. So if I give 6 mod 2, that will give 0 because 6 is exactly divisible by 2. If I give 5 mod 2, that's going to give me 1 because 5 is not divisible by 2. But I don't know what you mean by modulus in loop. Maybe we have used it in some loop. I don't remember. What is prime partition? Yeah, I don't know what is prime partition or where you got that from. I have a doubt whether we will have only MCQ or else we'll need to write program. As I said last class, I am an external person who is just here to solve some problems and do these revision sessions with you. I am not in charge of exam or preparing the exam or pattern or anything like that. So I don't want to answer this because I'm not sure of it myself. It will be better if you can contact the NPTEL team either through the discussion forum in your course page or you can mail them. They can clarify this for you. Okay. But in any case, if you want to learn programming, you should write programs uh, instead of solving MCQs. What's not working? What is not working? Okay. Someone said that is not working. Yeah, I mean, it is coming into reverse is not defined because the question is for you to write the program in, write a function for int reverse. You need to write the function. That's why it's coming not defined. The question is not to just run this. I need you to write the function. Okay. These are examples. Yeah, no problem. The question is define a function. So you've seen, right? Def int reverse of something. Write a definition and write it. Okay, someone has given the logic in the group. That's good. You are extracting the last digit and storing in a new variable. Exactly. So you have to think about how to do this in Python. As I said, right? So this person has given the logic based on something they didn't see. So remember that programming logic and programming language are two different things. Programming logic is about how you approach the program. The language is based on how you have to write the thing, right? So it's about like an idea and a language. So once you have it, this can we share code in the chat? Yeah, if you want, you can share it. I can look at it. But more than that, if you can run these examples and it runs fine, that's also fine with me. I don't need to see your code as such. If you are satisfied, it's fine. Yeah, okay. So someone has, so this is a simple way of doing it is you are converting the integer to a string, which kind of bypasses the fact that they asked you to take the number as an input, but it's fine. I'll accept it. And then you're reversing the string. Okay, you guys have basically typecasted your string integer to a string so that you can then take advantage of the string splicing method. That's completely fine. Okay, so if you want to actually do it with number involved, again, as I said, with every code you have, with every problem, you have many different ways to approach it. So try doing this without doing the string part, with just keeping it as number. Can we use comments? Yes, of course you can use comments. Please do use comments. As I was saying in the beginning, whenever you write a program, please make it a practice to write comments wherever you can, because your future self will thank you about it. Okay. So yeah, those of you who have done with string, very good, but try to do it without using strings. Try to reverse the number just by using the properties of the number. Okay, good. Someone has given the uh, thing by using the modulus function as well. So yeah, the idea is you have to extract the last digit and you have to keep storing it. And then, you know this face value, place value concept, right? Where you have 783 is basically 7 into 100 plus 8 into 3, 8 into 10 plus 3 into 1. So you have to just extract 3, 8, and 7 and then multiply it in the correct way. So I'll show you the answer now. I think many of you have tried. That's very good. Those of you who have still trying, please continue trying. I will show you how I did it. I think I have done it similar to how many of you have. So let's just look at my solution. Sorry. So you can see my screen, right? Oh, sorry, week one. This is week two. I should change that, but I think you guys can see my screen. So yeah, I'm defining a function int reverse of n, keeping some variable to store the answer. And while n is greater than 0, basically I'm extracting the digit. The digit is n mod 10. So 387, if I do mod 10, I get 7 or 783, whichever was it. 783, if I do mod 10, I get 3, right? And then now I've already extracted the ones digit. Now I will just divide it by 10. Okay, and when I put two slashes like this, what does that mean? Last week we discussed this. What does it mean when I have a double slash?
Removes the decimal part.
Yeah, so it gives me integer division, right? Where I only have the basically, yeah, I can show you. I only have the float, sorry, the non-decimal part. So now if I take the example of 783, now D is 3 and the number has now become 78. Now 78 from 78, 8 is extracted, then I'm left with 7. So every time I'm adding 10 to the answer and then multiplying by 10, because that is basically 10 into, it's powers of 10, right? As I said, 387 is 3 into 100 plus 8 into 10 plus 7 into 1. So that is how this is done. So if I just run this program, okay, enter the number, let's enter 783, that gives me 387. So this is just the program, how it is done. This is how I have done. Many of you have done using typecasting it to a string, but I just wanted to show you that yeah, you're using the functionality of Python, which is that I can always change types very easily. But even without changing it to a string, you should be able to do it. And this is how you do it. And many of you have done it also by extracting the reminder in other ways. It's all fine. Why is my terminal showing syntax error? I checked indentation and wrote everything in correct spelling. Well, I can't tell until I see your program, but please check once more. Or see, whenever you get any error in a program, so suppose I got an error here, what I would do is like I will print out what is the value of D or N in every loop to check if it's being calculated correctly. So that is how you think about it, right? So try doing some print statements, and that will give you the idea of what's happening actually in your loop. See, I can't tell anything about why your terminal is showing syntax error unless I see your program. Please check it once more in your check. Okay. Okay, fine. I think many of you have got the answer. Very good. So let's go to the next question. Uh, so I think this was an easy question and you guys have done it. Again, you saw that even in within this one program, many of you did in different ways. That is the power of programming, is that you can always have your own logic or your own way of solving a problem. As long as you understand that logic and as long as the method is clear to you, that's fine. Okay. Fine. So this is the next question. It looks kind of long, but I'll explain it. So write a function matched of S that takes an input as a string S and checks if the brackets, open bracket and close bracket, are matched. So you need, every time you have open bracket, you should have a matching close bracket coming after it, not immediately after it, but somewhere within the string there should be a close bracket. So whenever I open a bracket, somewhere within the string I should have a close bracket. Okay. And every closed bracket has a matching open bracket before it. Your function should ignore all the other symbols that appear in it. So only look at the brackets, right? So you should check whether you start with open bracket, end with close bracket. Okay. And it should be matched up. And it should always be in that order also. You should have an open bracket first and then a close bracket. Every open bracket should be corresponding to a close bracket. So it's similar to when you write a mathematical expression, right? Whenever I have an open bracket, I should close it. Otherwise, the expression is wrong. So your function should return true if it has matched brackets, false if it does not. So does everyone understand the question? This is examples of the output. Again, this is not just for you to run in your terminal. The question is for you to write the function. Okay, so don't just run it in your terminal. It will show that the function is not defined. So here you can see that, for example, in this case, ZB %78 is the string. Here there are no back brackets. So obviously it's true because all open brackets are 0, close brackets are 0. They are perfectly matched. In this case, you can see that I have an open bracket, and this close bracket, but this open bracket is not having a close bracket. So it's false. So they are not exactly matched. Here you can see that there is a one close bracket and one open bracket. So they are actually matched, but the close bracket comes before the open bracket. So the order is wrong, and that's why it gives false. And in this case, there are many brackets, but if you actually work it out, all of them are matched up. So it's giving true. So your idea is to just check whether this order is maintained and the number is maintained. Okay. So this is how you think about it. So I'll give you a few minutes. Please trying.
Hello.
Yeah.
Um,
Is that a question?
now it is showing in the third one. The best A and star and a question mark. How it is false?
Yes, because good. So the thing is that here, yes, there is only one close bracket and one open bracket. So in that sense, it's matched up. But remember, this also checks the order. The open bracket should come first and then the close bracket should come. So here the close bracket is first, right? And there's no open bracket before.
Before that one open bracket was there, and
Where
after
is
that one close bracket was there. That means it's a complete one.
Oh, no. Okay, don't get confused. This open and close bracket don't count. They are of the function.
No, in after A, before A and after A.
Before
That is one
A,
closed one.
this one.
Yes, before A and after A. A before one open bracket.
This one.
Yes, this one. And after.
So that's what I'm trying to say. These don't count. This is of the function. I'm writing matched of S, right? So this is that open bracket and close bracket. Don't count that.
Yes, I'm telling these things. Means the star one separates two brackets. Means one open bracket closed
No,
first,
no, no,
then
no.
the
So, okay. So here, how to think about it is S, right? The string S is A, close bracket, asterisk, open bracket, question mark. These
that
two
means
brackets, these
okay,
two
that means the
brackets are
string.
of the function. Matched of S is there. No, this is there. No.
That means this is a full string one.
The string is within the quotation mark. So only look
Yes,
at
yes.
the value within the quotation mark.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, got it?
If that is one the quotation close one, first one, second, last one, then in between what is there? The close bracket, star, open bracket, question mark. It's all the belongs to one string or
Yeah,
not?
yeah, that is the string. The string is A bracket, star, bracket, question mark. That is the string.
Yes,
So the
string.
other two brackets are for the function. So they are not counted
Yes.
in the calculation. Okay.
Okay. So now the first one is open one, the last one is the closed one. Like the first two program, first example.
Uh-huh.
It is like that one.
Okay, maybe you are not able to understand. So here I have to check for the string S, right? In this
Yes.
case, the string is whatever is in between the quotation mark. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here ZB percentage 78 is my string. These
Yeah.
brackets don't count because they are of the
Yes.
function. Okay. Here there are no
Okay.
brackets, so automatically it's
Yes.
true. Here
Yes.
there is one mismatch bracket. Here there are batch bracket, but this one is starting with closed. The order also matters in the program. I have to check first if there's an open bracket and then a closed bracket, then only I can say it's a matched case. That's why this is false.
Okay. So we have to check the open bracket and close bracket as a string. Inside the string, if it is not matched, then it is false.
Yes.
Okay. 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 Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, someone has asked in the chat if condition for open bracket and close bracket, am I correct? So that right. So if you can check like that, but remember just the discussion we have had now, which is that we also need to check the order, right? We need to check for every open bracket, we need a close bracket. So think about it, it's a little more complicated than that. Okay, it's not so. You have to check first the open bracket and then the close bracket.
Okay. So if first there's a close bracket, then
Yes.
an open and then close a bracket. So will that be a fine?
See, it should not start with a close bracket. It should only start with an open bracket. That is the idea.
Okay.
Every close bracket should have an open bracket before it. You think about it like writing a mathematical expression. Okay, suppose you're writing some 2 into 3 plus 5, something like that. Will you ever start with a close bracket?
No.
You will not start with a close bracket, right? It's the same it's the same logic here. You will never start an expression with a close bracket. You will only start an expression with an open bracket. Here you're just checking if all the brackets match up.
True that. But in the example, so example here, the third example, right?
Uh-huh.
What first there's an close bracket
Uh-huh.
in the strings, then there's an open bracket. What if at last there's a close bracket? So will it return true or false?
What should it return? You tell me.
Uh, it should return true, I guess.
No, it should return false, right? Even though this bracket is having its pair, this bracket is not having its pair, right? Still, this bracket doesn't have its pair.
There is a condition that first open bracket should be there, and then close bracket should arrive.
Okay,
If
okay. So what? So let me just understand your question properly. Are you saying that the same string, if I have a close bracket at the end, or are you saying if I change this close bracket to the end? Which one are you saying?
first one.
So
In the string,
in the same string, if I now have an additional close bracket, then yeah, here there is a pair. There is an open bracket and there is a close bracket. But still, the first closed bracket does not have its pair, right?
okay. So
Got it?
yeah.
Okay. So basically there are two things. Okay. I can understand it's a little confusing. There are two things. One is that every bracket should have a pair. Open, close like that. It should have pair. The other thing is it should come in the order. I should have open first, then close. Just think of it like writing a maths expression. You will never start a maths expression or any expression with a close bracket. You will only start with a open bracket. Yes, I will give you all my code and session with the PPT. Don't worry about it. I told you in the beginning of the class. I will explain it at the end of the class also. Don't worry about getting the codes. Please try the program once and I will give you the solutions also. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, good. So any of you have got the solution of this question or have tried it? I have explained it a few times now. Okay, someone has got it. Nice. Others also, please keep trying. Okay, because while writing the program only such doubts will come up. Like when we look at the question, we might think it's very simple, but while writing the program only many doubts come up. Okay, someone has given a code. Again, if your code is working for the example case, I am fine with it. So let's go to the solution then so that we can finish the other programs also. So let me just share my screen again. This is program. Let me just close everything else. Okay, program 2. So, okay. So you can see that I have defined. So others who are trying, please keep trying. I'm just explaining my logic in the side. So here it is. So define matched of S. So this is my function matched and this is the string S. So we are starting with this variable called nested. Okay, so nested is going to help me to keep track of how many close brackets and how many open brackets are there and also what order they come. So you'll see how. So now I'm going through, this is a for loop which goes through all the elements of the string. Okay, for all the elements of the string, it goes through the each element. So if S of I is an open bracket, so first of all it's checking. So you can see that nested is increased by 1 for every open bracket. So again here, whatever I write with hash symbol, right, it's a comment. So that's what I was saying, that always write comments in your code because that will help to make your code more understandable. So yeah, nested is increased by 1 for every open bracket. On the other hand, if I get a close bracket, I'm going to decrease it by 1 for every close bracket. So what this means is that if I have a pair of open bracket, close bracket, that should give me nested 0. If I have perfectly balanced brackets, that will give me 0, right? Because every open bracket is giving me a close bracket and so on. On the other hand, what about the condition we were discussing just now, where we have starting with a close bracket, right? In that case, immediately, if I have, in that case, what happens? I'm starting with 0 and then the first thing I'm encountering is a close bracket. In that case, nested will become negative. And whenever negative value comes, I'm immediately returning false because negative value means that I have somehow started with a close bracket, which means immediately the whole statement is false. Okay. If this condition doesn't happen, then I only need to check whether they are balanced. And balanced means there is an open bracket and correspondingly a close bracket. So +1 -1 means 0. So at the end of the string, nested should remain 0 if I have a balanced bracket. And that's why I'm returning the condition if nested is equal to 0. So this will return true if it's balanced and false if it's not balanced. And this if loop is just to take care of the case where I'm starting with a close bracket. Okay. So let's try running a string. So let's first try
Ma'am,
running. Yeah, please.
hello. The last the programming one, when we are checking with the nested loop -1, we are checking
Yes.
whether it is closed one is correct or not. If there is no close bracket, definitely the plus one will increase. Then
Yes.
it nested one not equal to less than 0. It will more than 0.
Yeah, that's true. So what's the issue?
Then if my nested is more than 0, the condition will not return false.
Okay, so
Return will be
okay, okay,
true.
okay, okay. So let me try to tell you. So here at the end, anyway, I'm checking if nested is 0 or not, right? So if it is if there are more open brackets and if it is ending
Yes.
up as a positive value, then this check already takes care of that. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why I need a separate check for less than 0 is because
Why it checked? When there is a more open
here,
bracket, then what?
no, here it is checked, right? Nested is equal to, if there is more open brackets, then can
Yes.
nested be 0?
No.
No. So in the last, what does it return? It checks if it is 0 or not. So if there's more open brackets, it's definitely going to give false, right?
Yes, false.
Okay. So the reason now, why do I then need a specific condition for the close this condition? Why do I need this specific condition? Because the order matters. If the order did not matter and I just needed to check for the pairs of brackets, I didn't need this if loop at all. Okay. The reason is that suppose I gave a string as close bracket, open bracket, then nested is 0 because -1 +1. But it's still wrong because we are starting with a close bracket. So the moment nested becomes less than 0, that always tells me I'm starting with a close bracket and I have to return a false. Okay.
In the other way, I can say that if I am storing the open bracket in nested one and the close bracket is nested two, then if I compare this nested one or equal to nested two, then it is okay. Otherwise, it is false.
No, see, again, I'm saying nested one correct. But then where are you checking for the order? Suppose I have this kind of input. Okay. Suppose I give, okay, let me just clear this. Just look at this input. This should give false, right? In your case, where you have nested one and nested two,
Yeah.
it will give 0 because there is equal number of closed and open brackets. So if you just check for the number of open and closed bracket, it will give true. I should also check if closed bracket is coming first, it should give false.
Okay.
You get it now? That if
Yeah,
condition, you can write it with nested one, nested two, that's fine. But then you have to write a condition that if nested two becomes negative at any point, then you should immediately return false. And that's what this loop is for. Suppose the question was just check if there are equal number of open and closed brackets. Then I don't need this loop at all. But the question was whether open bracket, closed bracket pairs in that order is maintained. So because of that, even if I have a closed and open bracket in the wrong order, I should get a false.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Means
Good.
order is checked.
Yes, the order is important here. Okay. So that's why
Okay.
this example, if you see, that's why. If you give some other example, for example, like this is giving false. If I give, this is giving false. If I give some equalized thing, that should give true. Okay. So you guys understand, right? Any problem with this logic or anything? Let me just check the chat. What about if there is only open brackets? Then still nested is different from 0, right? So then it will still give me a false. You can check it in the program also. Because if there is only open brackets, definitely this will not become true. So the danger is more of checking. I mean, we can easily check whether they are balanced because whenever it's balanced, it gives 0. The danger is what if it is balanced, but the order is different? Then I should not get true. That's wrong. That's why I have this special loop here. Okay. Then how it is giving false? Because it's not 0. Because nested is not 0. Think about it. Nested is only 0 if you have open and closed equally. Okay. Any other questions? I think this is clear. We can go to the next program. Let me check the chat. Okay, got it. Okay, some of you have also given the solutions. Okay, great. Fine. Good. Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, so this is the question. Write a function called sum of primes of L, which takes the input of a list of integers L and returns the sum of all the prime numbers in L. Okay, so here you can see that here what are the prime numbers? 3 is a prime number and 13 is a prime number. So the sum of primes would be 3 plus 3 plus 13, which is 6 plus 13, 19. In this case, which are the prime numbers? 2 is a prime number, 11 is a prime number. So 2 plus 11 is 30. In this case, negative numbers we don't classify as prime. 1 is not prime, 6 is not prime, so the sum of primes is actually 0. Okay, so you have to take in a list of numbers and then return the sum of only the prime elements of the list. Okay, I'll give you a few minutes. Please try to answer the chat. Okay, someone has asked about the open bracket thing. So I'd already explained it. Just try to write it down and understand. That will be better. Basically, for open brackets, I don't need to write a specific return because whenever I have more open brackets, it automatically changes the nested value from 0. Okay. So the important thing is that with open bracket, there is no danger of order. With closed bracket, there is a danger that if it comes first, the order may be changed. So that's why extra for loop is there. Sorry, extra if condition was there. You try writing it down. Some things you will understand if you write down each step and it will be very clear. This given question, okay. Here the question is, you write a function, the input is a list. Of the list elements, you have some prime numbers, or you may or may not have some prime numbers. Your output should be the sum of the all the prime numbers in the list. So what are prime numbers here? 3, 3 and 13 are prime. So 3 plus 3 plus 13 is 19. Here, for example, 2 and 11 are prime numbers. So 13 is the answer. Here, for example, there are no prime numbers. Negative numbers are not classified as prime. So because of that, the answer is 0. Is this clear to you? Okay, good. So yeah, please try this out. I'll give you some time and then we can discuss the solution. Okay, good. Some of you have solved it. I'll give like a few more minutes in case people are still trying it out. Please, all of you try it out. It doesn't matter if you get the solution or not. But as I said, with programming, you should try to do this. This class is already being recorded. Class is already being recorded. As I said in the beginning, it will be uploaded on YouTube after this. I'll explain all the links at the end. I'll share the links at the end. Okay. Fine. Yeah, here you have to, as some of you have shared in the chat, you have to first check if the number is prime and then sum it up. So again, I would strongly suggest, the reason I'm giving this time, I can just show you my solution and finish the class. But the reason I'm giving you this time is because with programming, it's very important that you try it yourself. If I just explain it to you, it might seem very simple. And when you see other people's programs also, it seems simple. But until and unless you sit and write the program, many doubts won't come to your head. Like, okay, so please try at least. If you don't get the solution, is a different issue, right? But please try to write the program. I preferably write it in a Python interpreter itself so you can run and see if it's working. But if you are not readily having access to Python right now, then please at least try to get the logic. Okay, how many of you have tried this program? Please give raise of hands so I can check. Just raise your hand. Okay, good. Good. Others also please try. Maybe I'll give you a little more time required. Okay, good. You can lower your hands. Many of you who have not tried yet, please you also try it. And I will give you a solution in some time. Okay. Yeah, but this thing is that there are 89 people in the class, but I can see only 10 or 12 hands up. Maybe more than that, but yeah, please, most of you, I don't know if you're trying or not. Please try it out, okay? As I said, programming, you have to do it. It's the cycle analogy I keep using. Okay, so then I'll share my solution with you. Those of you who are still doing, please continue doing, and we'll just discuss the solution so we can do the other problems also, okay? So let me just switch to VSC. Program 3. Okay, so right. So here you have the function. Yeah, you guys can lower your hands, it's fine. So I'm just showing my solution. So as I said, here we have to take a list as input, and then we want to check for the prime numbers in that list and take the sum of those primes. So here, many of you have given prime numbers. I mean, we discussed in detail how to find the factors of a number last time. So, we were talking about it when we discussed about this greatest common factor and all that. So I've just tried to remind you of that. So here, this is a function that computes the factors of n. So you can see that it basically checks whenever something is divisible, then the remainder is 0. And that's where I'm adding these things to the list. You don't necessarily need to do this, but I just wanted to check it. Of course, the definition of a prime number is if its factors are 1 and the number itself. And in that case, the number is prime. So it checks for this condition. And if it is true, then it returns true. If it's false, it returns false. Of course, sum of primes, we start with the sum of 0. Then we check each number for this true condition, whether the factors is actually equal to 1 and n or not. In that case, we add to the sum, and finally we return the sum. So this is how you get it. I can just run this program for you. Give it once. Let me just clear this because it's confusing. So I'll run this for you. So suppose I give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the answer should be 10. And that is what I get because 2 plus 3 plus 5 is 10. Similarly, if I give something with no prime numbers, then I get 0 as expected. If I give something with negative numbers, again I get 0. Okay. So the program works fine. So again, remember that, yeah, there are different ways to do it. And here, one thing that is interesting here is that we are actually able to, this function sum of primes calls another function is prime, right? And that itself calls another function factors. So sometimes it's useful for us to write different tasks that we are doing in different functions so that later, I may be using this factor somewhere else also. So to calculate greatest common factor, for example. So in that sense, it's sometimes useful for us to write repeated things, not all in one function, but to break it down into different functions. Then we can call those functions for any purpose we need apart from the immediate program that we have. Okay. Okay. Is there any doubts in this program? Could you zoom out and show the whole code? Okay, yeah, sure. I think I don't know if it is okay. Let me just close the terminal. Maybe that will help. Yeah, this is the whole code. Someone asked about it. And also don't worry about, again, as I said, I am going to share these Python files with you. I'm going to share the Python files. I'm going to share the slides with you. So don't worry about keeping track of this. Okay. This type of program is in the okay. As I said, I'm not sure about the exam or its format or what kind of questions are there. Please ask your discussion forum, ask the NPTEL people, mail them, and they will let you know. I am just here as an external person to solve problems and help you to understand the course better. But I am not in charge of the exam. And I don't know the pattern or kind of questions that are there. Okay, I don't want to say anything without knowing. That's why. Okay, so is there any other questions in this doubts in this class in this program? No, okay, good. So let's go to the next program then. Okay, so this is the program. So we are going to be looking at something called an Armstrong number. So Armstrong number is basically a positive integer who has this relation. And particularly, we are going to be looking at Armstrong number of 3 digits. So Armstrong number of 3 digits is, for example, a number ABC, where A cube plus B cube plus C cube is equal to ABC. So I've told you to write a program to check if a number is an Armstrong number of order 3 or not. Through your program, prove that 153 is an Armstrong number. So let's check first if 153 is an Armstrong number. So if 153 is Armstrong number, what does that mean? 1 cube plus 5 cube plus 3 cube should give me 153, right? So okay, sorry. So let's just quickly look at if that's true, right? 1 cube plus this may be difficult to visualize. Let me take it in Python itself. So if I have 1 cube plus 5 cube plus 3 cube, that is 153. So 153 is an Armstrong number. Now you have to write a program that checks if any arbitrary number is an Armstrong number. And of course, your program should give the correct value for that 153 is an Armstrong number. Okay. So for a 3-digit number specifically. Does everyone understand the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So please try it. I'll give you a few minutes. You can try out the question. Again, this is related to something we did earlier in the one of the earlier programs. Again, here we have to extract the digits from the number, right? From 153, I have to extract 1 and 5, and then I can check for this condition or not. Okay, someone has given the answer. Okay. Okay. You can see some other person has also given the answer. Nice. So yeah, you can immediately see that different people have different approaches. The first person has used strings again to extract the digits and then checked for the cube condition. The other case, you are using the percentage D percentage modulo function to extract the digits. So yeah, good. All of you just check if 153 is being returned correctly. That will be the check for your program. And then check, of course, some arbitrary number to check if that is not being returned correctly. So I'm not sure what is the other Armstrong number. So I'm not sure. You can search it online. If you can find some other number, you can check with that as well. Okay, good. I can see that few of you have pasted your program in the chat. That's good. I'll show you how I did it now. Uh, those of you are trying, please continue trying. I'm just sharing my solution right now. So yeah, before I do that, how many of you are trying this solution or trying the program or have tried the program? Just raise your hands. Trying, okay. Okay, some people are still trying. I'll give you some time. I'll give two more minutes and then we can few more minutes and we can discuss. Okay, good. Yeah, I can see that some people are still trying, so I'll give you some time to get your solution. We can take a few more minutes and then I'll show how to do it. Okay, some other Armstrong numbers have been put in the chat. So those of you who have programs, you can check with these numbers if they are also giving you whether it is Armstrong number or not. Is there a question? Oh, sorry. Okay, maybe I will just go through my solution quickly. Those of you are trying, you can keep trying, but I'll just go through the solution so that we can end. I don't want to take extra time. Okay. So this is program 4. Right. So here you can see that this is I have not written it as a function, but yeah, I have not defined it as a function. You can define it as a function if you want. But basically, here you can see that I'm entering a number, initializing the sum of digits to 0. I have a temporary variable. This temporary variable, basically I'm storing all, the first I have 153, I'm storing the digit 3. After that, I'm adding the 3 cube to the sum. temporary variable now becomes 15, and then so on and so forth. Okay. So then I'm checking if the number is equal to whatever is the sum, then that is an Armstrong number. If it is not, it's not. So let's just run this and see. So one of you had given some other numbers. Wait, let me give some. So let's run this program and see. I'll just increase the font size. So I think one of you said 370 is an Armstrong number. So yeah, 370 is an Armstrong number. 153 is an Armstrong number. If I give something random like 124, that is not an Armstrong. So again, this logic is the same. I'm extracting the digit and then I'm adding each digit to the power of 3 to the sum. Then I'm comparing with now. So why do I need a temporary variable here? Because I am changing the, when I'm extracting the digits, I'm actually dividing, and as we did in the first program where we were reversing the number, I'm actually making 153 into 15 and then 1, right? So I need num to compare the original number, and temporary variable is just for extracting each of the digits. Okay, of course, you can do it in another way without this temporary variable, as many of you have done in the chat, or you can use string manipulation, something like that. Anything is fine. Okay, good. So I can see some more people have given answers in the chat. So that's good. Any other, any questions in this, any doubts in this question? No doubt. Okay, good. So we have 10 minutes. So maybe I will just quickly ask you to do one last program. Do you have time? Yeah, I'll just show you the program and you try to work it out. Okay, I'll share the solutions with you on the Google Drive. So the program is this. It's a very standard program. Maybe some of you have already done it, which is that you're basically going to swap the values of two variables. Okay. So write a Python program that takes two variables as input, display the values, and then swap the values with each other. The initial value of x must be stored in y and vice versa, and display these values on screen next. So this is a program where you can do it in many different ways. So yeah, I would encourage all of you to try this program by yourself. So yeah, I mean, I can, since we have 10 minutes, I can give you some time to try it out. Or I mean,
Ma'am,
let's,
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
yeah, please.
Not in this program. I have doubt in range function. So when I'm putting, let's say one string is there, that is a 10 digit string, and on the range function it is mentioned that 10, comma, -1, comma, -2. So then
Sorry,
how far
sorry, which,
it will count?
sorry,
How,
which function is this? Sorry, I didn't get you
so
clearly.
for I in range of 10, comma, -1, comma, -2. So the string is itself 10 digit one, 10 characters. So how it is calculated?
Can you just write this in the chat? I'm not able to understand clearly your question. Will it be possible to just write it in the chat? Okay, many of you have given the solutions in the chat. Very good for the swapping. But yeah, this question, can you please write it in the chat?
Okay.
Yeah, so many of you have written. So yes, one advantage of Python is that you can just write a comma b is equal to b comma a and it works. Does not work in other languages. But yeah, please try it out. So someone has used temporary variable. There are many ways to do this program. So I will share with you in my Python file how I have done it. Yes, you will get the recorded video of this session. Again, the slides are made for you. Programs are made for you. Everything is going to be provided to you. Don't worry about it. So there was a doubt. We'll just close by clearing that doubt. So whoever had that doubt, okay, yeah, very good. Someone has given this solution as well. So yeah, many of you have already given the swap answers. I don't think I need to share my program. I have also followed your same logic. Okay. Okay, who had asked that question? Sorry, I forgot. Can you write it in the chat? I didn't
Yes,
get your.
I'm writing. I'm writing.
Okay, good, fine. In the meantime, okay, we can close the session. I will just end with this question. Before that, because all of you are so worried about this, don't worry. All the slides are available, and after this session, I will upload the slides and the programs, whatever I have discussed in the Google Drive. Can find all the links on my website. I'm sharing it here. Uh, Also, the YouTube playlist is there. I think parallel to this, NPTEL team is also sharing all the links with you. So please check all this. I made this website just so that you will have a place where all the links are in one place. So please check all this and keep track of it. I have already uploaded the first week's lecture notes and PPT and YouTube video. So today after the class, by tonight, I will be uploading this video and the slides and the programs by tonight. And as
Yes, ma'am.
always,
We have seen it.
if you have any doubts, you can mail me. I'm sharing my
You
mail
share the
ID.
Google Drive link? I have attended just now.
Sorry.
Can you share the Google Drive link, ma'am?
So just go to my website. It will be there. I'm sharing the link again. All the links that you require is on this website. Okay, like if you can see my screen, just check here. So YouTube playlist, you can find the YouTube playlist here. Slides of the session, if you click here, this is a Google Drive. Obviously, only week 1 is there. I am yet to upload week 2. I will upload after this session. Okay, shall we end the session then? I don't think there's anything else to discuss. That one doubt which that person had. Okay.
Ma'am.
For I in range, what is this?
No, I
What?
just I want to say, suppose the string is like this one.
Uh-huh.
What is written below? And for I in the range 10 -1 -2. Now how it will store the data from the string itself?
So where did you see this kind of thing? For I in range 10 -1 -2. Usually range
Yes.
has to start with the, I don't know.
Yes.
Can you give it like this? Let's see.
No, the string is the mention what I mentioned ASDIV. This is the string. That is length is 10.
So
Then
what are you trying to do? For I in
my
range, it's fine. What is
how
I here? What is I doing?
means yes. What how I will work?
No, okay, but what is
Which character I will store first?
no? But I is not coming anywhere, right? I don't understand. Your I is in range. I may be in some range. That is fine. But
Yes.
string. Where is I coming in the string? I don't understand. You want to check string of I? Is that what you're wanting to check?
No, string is there. The 10 digit 10 number character.
Yeah.
String is
So
one.
where
So
is
out of
so I is
yes,
having
I
10.
want.
I is having some value. String is having some value. How are both of these connected? That's what I'm asking.
So let's say it's connected. I'm not asking, but
No, no.
my point, my understanding point is that
Let's say it's connected is different. Tell me how it is connected. Then I can answer your question. You're saying which digit of the string will come. That depends on how they are connected, right?
for as I mentioned, for I in the range 10
Okay, you
-1
want
-2, then which character it will pick from the list given? That I want.
you want to know what is range of 10 -1 -2? Is that the question?
Yes, yes,
Okay. That we can check, right? On Python. That we can check.
yes.
So let's give A is equal to range of 10 comma -1 comma -2. If I give A, this is having the value. So if I give A of 0, that is 10. A of 1 is going to be 8 because -2 gives you the step size. So in a range,
Yes.
the first value is the first digit, first is the starting value, second value is the ending value, and the last value is the step size. So this will basically go 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0, right? That's what will be. So if I give A of -1, which gives me the last digit, that will be 0. So this is your question,
Okay.
right? This is how it will be.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is not connected to the string. That's what I was trying to tell you. Range is
So the
different.
string, the string what I have, the character what I mentioned, the last one what is mentioned Z. So the Z will come first. If I reverse it,
Okay,
if I
fine.
reverse
That's
it,
so that's what. Then you have to write string of I, for example. That's what I was trying
yes,
to
yes,
ask
yes,
you.
yes,
So
yes,
you would
yes.
have not mentioned string of I, right? It can be string of I plus one. It can be string of two I. You are get the
The
that's why.
minus, the range of -1 and the what is
Yeah, yeah,
-1
yeah,
and
got it.
-2.
Okay, okay. Yeah, fine, fine. I hope it's clear to you now. This is how the range of 10 minus 1 minus 2 looks like.
Yes.
Okay, I think we are out of time. So, as I
Yes.
said, all the slides, recordings, everything is available to you. In case any of you cannot find any of it, please mail me. But I'm sure the links are available. Please save the links. I keep sharing it at the beginning and end of every class. Apart from that, my sessions are Saturdays at 3 to 5. So I can see you next time. Thank you for joining on a weekend, and I hope you have happy rest of the weekend. Okay. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks to you as well.
Yeah.
Have a
Thanks.
good day, ma'am.
Yeah, have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Happy weekend, ma'am.